So I made a video showing um, a web app building process using Google Apps Script uh, as your ecosystem to build out with a Sheets file as a database and Google Apps Script hosting and running a deployed web app that anybody can use. Um, in that video, I discussed the method that I use to generate the code and the instruction and documentation associated with the code, so that it's easy for developers to use if it's being handed off, and easy to look back on um, as reference to understand what the intent of the project was to begin with, as an example. So let's get into the whole method. It starts with taking an idea. In this case, we're using uh, a project for uh, Outlier AI, which is a AI learning platform thing where people get paid money to do tasks that train the AI. So this was written out by myself and another person who was who presented the idea initially, and after reviewing it, this is after uh, several conversations to get it down to what the actual requirements ought to be. And here it is. Anyway, we've got all this code, so we're going to take this. In short, the instructions are telling it what the plan is going to be. And it, excuse me, I will note that um, the code is, or not the code, sorry, the prompt is relatively short compared to prompts that I have used in the past, uh, and it yields better results. So, one of the things that guided this methodology was just kind of that realization over the course of experimentation and playing around with it, that basically we've got to just feed AI, whatever platform you're using, uh, information and assume that it is a person who needs to be told very specifically what to do. The difference being, typically when we're dealing with people, we have to dumb down our speech. Um, I, that sounds, I didn't mean that negatively, but we have to adjust our speech, the words or phrases, to meet whatever level that person is on. With an LLM, and working with AI and LLMs, you can use whatever speech you really want to use, or that you're familiar with and comfortable using, uh, as long as your points are specific. So that's a benefit of it. A discovery I tripped upon as I failed on many things. So we go to perplexity, and when we're in here, we've copied that text, we'll paste it in here. Typically, I'll create a space. So here, for example, I created a space. We've got some instructions. So in this case, it really has all the information. I believe this space instruction um, has, yeah, this is very specific. I don't want to get that specific with this one as a test. I'd rather start new and see what happens as a compared. I started doing it. Oh, let me show you actually. Started doing it on this just before I decided to record something. Um, but you'll see these are missing things, which it's not based on our prompt, but based on the instructions that it has. It's asking for a lot of stuff that I just don't want to provide right now. So in this scenario, so there, go back to new, paste that, hit enter, and we wait. So the biggest, uh, I guess, frustration. Maybe that's not the right word, but uh, the biggest challenge with this is waiting sometimes. Um, Depending on what it is for a task. Like these tasks here, I mean, to be fair, it's processing several tasks in that little chunk, but um, I get nervous sometimes that it's going to fail because it has failed sometimes and after you've waited for several times. So parsing it out, chunking it out helps with that. So let's put together this. Got a development description. Let's see. So yeah, the web stack, all the Google scripts, database. This is going to be the sheet that's created. A couple sheets, got a configuration. All right. Some functions, boot database, which is good. This will create the sheet, so we don't have to manually create it. Um, Intake forms. That looks good. Okay. Approved. So we'll just go generate document to, and you can say whatever you want, yes or move on or however you want to do it. That goes back to the language thing, but we want we wanted to keep going along with the process, and it has now that first document. Um, what we've established with that first document is when I say we, I mean um, the AI and I. We've established it's good. We're on the same page. So then it's using that instruction or that reference to move on to this next step. And so with that, we've got a pseudocode. I don't like how it put it into separate code windows. I mean, it's fine. It's not, but I've seen it produce easier content to work with. Um, so let's ask it to do it differently. So say do because I don't think we're specific in the uh, initial. Okay, so we'll say because it didn't create a document, did it? I didn't look. No. If it creates something, we'll see a file here. No, unless it's here. Oh. So we'll say this. I like to put heavily commented so that it anybody that looks at uh, the pseudocode has to do very or as little as possible translating of of just structure. So as long as if you put in notes and write like a person for a person, um, it'll the message will get across so that the task of writing the actual code can be accomplished a lot easier. More waiting. Sometimes I don't think this will take as so long, but working on these projects is good to have little things on the side to do and fill these little gaps because the process is very I know it's not necessarily labor intensive. It's just clicking some buttons, but so not a whole lot of concentration is necessary. Like play Hearthstone sometimes in the background. Look over to see how the progress is going. For reference, this was the video presentation 207 Analytix X afferent signal that I referenced at the beginning of this video. Should you want to see the rest of the process and it doesn't create this file, it's a different project entirely, but same idea. All right, so yes, make document 2. Great. Is this the full file? If it is, we don't need it to like. Yeah, I think it's gonna be the full file. We don't need it to actually like run code to generate it. It'll be a waste. We can just copy the full box and create our own file. All right. And we will call it pseudocode. All right, so that's all there. Yes, small letters are the most method. Um, so I'm questioning this adjustment here because I'm not sure if that means that code has it. All right. This is the type of thing. Question uh, as you're developing it. If there's something if there's something that you don't understand, like this, I didn't really understand what they were saying. Just ask the question and it'll be cleared up. So we don't need to generate the text file because I'm just going to use this and copy. There, we have our pseudocode file. And then we can just, oops, what we'll do is just dump it in here so it has it. And then we'll see how it looks. Boom. All right. So now we are putting in the code. And let's be more specific as to how that output goes. All right, so what we're doing here is rather than have it create a text file each time that I check, just have it put it in the source code box so I can just look at it and verify it, and then create the actual files and put those files into one zip file, and then I'll have that. Or I actually have it. Well, I already downloaded the pseudocode. That's fine. But what I've done before is have it bundled. But in this case, we'll just have these bundled, these files, and not the documentation that was made before the pseudocode. Sorry. So this has the code boxes like we described. It's generating those. I'm making different files for each of those. It's just the function database. Yeah, it looks like it's just doing part of the CS code file that's going to be generated. Um, but we'll keep going this way and we'll have it here. We'll deal with it once it's done. Uh, we will deal. Okay, so this is. Or did they just make the boot separate? I think that's what it was. Okay, yeah. Read code. So this is one code file. This is to get it all set up. This gets added to it. I don't. I guess that's one file. Although. Okay, so code.gs part one of two and part two of two. Part of this is understanding how it's structured. Um, I've never seen it produce stuff that way, so I just had to adjust my understanding of it a little bit. To index. Alright, so we're gonna just do this in two parts every time, huh? Alright, this thread's getting long. So we'll wanna, alright, see if it allows, just puts it in there, good. And so if we need to move to a new thread, I like to just capture everything that we've done in this thread and shoot it over. In this case, we're not really using the space to its full extent, um, in the sense of adding instruction that goes across, but typically this will work fine. We're just asking it to create a prompt that we'll use in the new thread, and it will. Now is a good time to move all that. The code that's been written, put that into a file now. That way we can just carry it over to make sure that it's consistent. Again, waiting game, but what this will help with again is keeping that consistency with it. Um, and it's at any point from this point on, from the pseudo code on, this could be handed off to a human developer to do whatever they need to do with. Um, if one does not want to follow this path, I encourage it actually. Shop local. I wonder if they put the whole thing in this prompt. Sweet. And then we're gonna attach that one that we just got. Excuse me, and this one. So back here. There. Then we just add those two files. And now we're continued on, and we have plenty of space to work with as far as messaging memory and all of the black magic that's associated with AI. All right, so index part 2. So it's telling us what each thing is doing. Tax proposed. Part 2 approved. All right, so far we're 26 minutes in and we're just about done. And when I say done, I mean full development launch. This I did not, I just realized, put instruction steps into it, but it wouldn't it wouldn't take too much more to do that. I could certainly add it to the end. Um, but it, well, maybe it'll come out all right. But I don't think it would be as complete as what I would have done with other projects and having that created almost at the beginning. So, but we'll see how it comes out at the end. We'll add it. We'll add it. We'll be full with this. Um, since we only had to do like two things in here. Texas. Oh, there it is. All right, so I don't know why it generated both code files separately. Well, there's the instructions anyway. Deployment checklist, so that's fine. I won't bother. I will not bother with the instructions. It gave some instructions, um, but like I'll show you as an example. Is it this one? Yeah, these instructions are one, but it's very detailed, uh, catered towards, students, newer, or students in this sense as new people to any of this, but that would be an example of what the format ought to be, but will not be. All right, so let's. Well, I don't need to do anything else on this video. That's good. I have accomplished my mission of bringing you to this point, and you can watch that other video to see in a different project the whole gas setup. But from here, I'm going to go ahead and set this up, make sure it works, and that is that.